This is Michael with your reading for February 2022. I do hope that this reading finds you well and in good spirits. I have all of your cards pulled here on the table, and I know the astrology for this month is a little choppy, not as bad as January, but it almost feels like you're catching up this month. We do have Mercury, your ruling planet, going direct on the 4th of February, and then Mercury will leave Capricorn and enter into Aquarius on the 14th. So there's this big focus on kind of catching up. You might be thinking a lot about kind of secrets and things that you have kind of kept in the shadow. Maybe there is this focus on shadow work for you because Capricorn is in your 8th house, and there is a focus on kind of uncovering some things, truths being revealed. That's actually very common when Mercury is going direct, that things that have been hidden beneath the surface are finally revealed. The cards are played, so to speak. And it's very often the case that during Mercury retrograde, things will seem to be going fine, and it's not until we come into the post-shadow, after Mercury goes direct again, that we see all the things we may have missed that were kind of occurring beneath the surface. So there could be a lot of that, in particular for you, Gemini, not only because you are ruled by Mercury, but because Mercury is in your 8th and then 9th house. There's a lot of truths that are coming forward. And that might even start happening with this new moon that is happening on the 1st of February in the sign of Aquarius. There really is this energy of commitment as well, because Saturn will be joining this new moon and really focused on kind of your worldviews or your spirituality or perhaps travel. Maybe you want to go somewhere else. The 9th house is really all about different horizons, or the horizon in general, what is just beyond what we can see in front of us. And that's very interesting for you, Gemini, because you naturally rule over the 3rd house, which is very immediate. It's what's in front of us. It's what we know. There's almost this sense of seeking that you are experiencing this month. And there might even be some lessons there for you as well. I really do get that sense of like spiritual seeking in particular. That feels pretty resonant for me. The first cards we actually had were the 3 of Wands and the 2 of Wands. This represents where we have been for you, and that makes sense because we have been in Capricorn season. We're now entering into Aquarius season, at least at the time of this recording. And there really is this interesting thing. I always pay attention to successions here. We actually started with the 3 of Wands, and we are now working into the 2 of Wands. So it's almost like something didn't necessarily go as planned. It's not that the plan has changed, but there is alterations that have happened. Things have needed to pivot or be adjusted in order to move forward for you. That is something that's really, really important. I still think you are moving forward. Whatever it is that you're focused on, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a career, whether that's a life goal, whatever this is, I feel like there's just this reassessment that is happening. And Mercury retrograde is the perfect time to do this. This is actually showing up in the past, what's kind of informing the month ahead for you. What you've gained is the Wheel of Fortune and the King of Pentacles. So you might actually be coming into money or stability very unexpectedly. If that hasn't already happened, that could be something that happens very soon. There's just this newfound stability, or perhaps a shakeup in your stability that is almost this lucky break and bringing you something even more. And maybe that's the thing that's actually causing you to change your perspective or look at things. This isn't necessarily bad. It's just something new has come into the picture, and now you're kind of like, oh, well, maybe I don't actually want the thing I thought I wanted, or maybe there's something even better for me. So that could actually be something to be open to, and kind of makes sense with the Hanged Man and the Queen of Pentacles sort of showing up thematically here for you this month. There is a lot of focus and reflection and rethinking your long-term goals here with the Queen of Pentacles. I feel like there are seeds that you have planted. There are things that are going to be blossoming. And February very much is kind of a lot of chaos, honestly. It's a lot of catching up to things. We actually have all of the planets going direct this month, and they will all be direct until the very end of April. That's when Pluto starts going retrograde. But honestly, even when Pluto goes retrograde, it's not necessarily the level of influence we experience with other retrogrades. I feel like there is this energy where it's like things are going to be happening very quickly, but it's like kind of rocky out of the gate. That makes a lot of sense to me, honestly. There is also this thing with your intuition and needing to slow down in this process as well. Again, that makes a lot of sense to me, specifically with Mercury in Capricorn and Aquarius this month. It feels like there really is this focus on kind of shadow work or looking at things from behind the scenes or getting a bigger picture view on your life. I think that's really, really important. And that could even be informing your long-term plans as well, kind of your life path, your life goals. There could be some adjustments that are happening there or some changes. And that's totally fine. You know, I think very often we will set one goal for our lives or one goal on a path only to realize that we want something different as we progress. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually very normal. That's kind of how the universe learns through us. It's refining its desire through us. And we learn as we go what works for us or what we really want. And there could be this change that's really making you kind of question things a little bit. I do actually the Ace of Cups showing up as potentially a challenge for you or a change. This could be new information, new intuitions that are coming in. It might feel hard for you to figure out what it is that actually makes you happy, but I think you do have an idea of this. You do know how to get there. I think there is something about healing as well. I keep getting this thing with like a truth being revealed. That seems very significant to me, especially with the full moon in Leo on the 3rd that is happening in your 3rd house. There could be something, some sort of message or truth or information that changes things for you and changes the way that you kind of carry out your daily life or your long-term goals. That could potentially be something. I could even see this thing where you're feeling a little lonely or isolated, which makes a lot of sense for everything happening in the world right now. But there could be this feeling of disconnect or maybe even some challenges or struggles, actually, especially with your siblings. If you have siblings or people who could be considered like a soul sibling, like a soul brother, soul sister, soul sib, whatever makes sense there. There could be something like that as well. However, I do have the Strength card and the 3 of Cups, which tells me it does take a little strength and conviction to move towards your goals. And it also requires this very self-possessed vulnerability. I get that with the Strength card, because a lot of the time it's like, we associate this with raw strength, with ferocity. And I won't lie, this Strength card definitely has more of an element of this. This woman in this picture, it's almost like the lion is her friend, is her ally. But it's not attacking anyone, but it's like, hey, don't mess with her sort of energy. Like standing your ground, standing in your power, maybe even having a bit of an imposing presence in that, but it's not necessarily being aggressive with it either. It's not provoking anything. It's not instigating anything. It's very self-assured. She doesn't look too concerned about whoever it is who's approaching her here or whatever situation she's in. She feels pretty confident about it. And I do kind of get the sense with 3 of Cups. This could be involving relationships, friendships, siblings. Sometimes I do actually read this card as sisters, so that's interesting to me. Maybe there is something coming up with sisterhood or sorority for some of you. Or just siblings in general. Again, this is a general reading. Gender isn't necessarily something we read in the cards, but I do kind of get a specific sense of femininity here. So that might be something that applies to some of you. And this could even be with another earth sign or potentially a Leo. So we're looking at Leo, another Taurus, Virgo or Capricorn. Maybe you have Taurus placements as well. I just did the Taurus reading. But for you, Gemini, it really feels like there's connecting with an earth sign or perhaps a Leo. And it's almost like the challenges bring you closer together. That's why you need to speak your truth. And there is a lot about you kind of airing out your closet, so to speak, or someone airing out their closet to you. There could be some big secrets, but it actually brings the two of you closer together. It strengthens a bond. A bond is being strengthened here. And this could potentially be with a partner as well, especially if you are in a relationship with a feminine person or a female person. But I do get that sense. There's just a bond being strengthened. And that's kind of coming out of all of this energy. Interesting. I also feel like for some of you, there could even be this thing, I know this is super specific, where it's like you have family in another region. And that actually kind of makes sense for the animal cards I pulled. I have the Asian elephant here, and the message is honor lineage. And there is even kind of like this journey in this card. It's beautiful. I'm loving this card. When I pulled it for you, I just... And, you know, elephants are matriarchal. So again, there really could be something about like feminine energy, matrilineal energy that you're connecting with this month. Divine feminine, however that makes sense for you. And I also have the common tortoise, which is steady on. And I know one of the messages for this card is like slow your roll. You don't have to rush into things. You don't have to make things happen right away. Which kind of feels relevant to whatever it is that you're working on. You know, slow, steady wins the race there. That's kind of a theme this month. We're kind of playing catch up. I do feel like March is going to be more of a forward-moving month for you. And what else do we have here? With this honor your lineage, I really do think, again, there could be things like family secrets or something that's coming forward. That's just something I kept getting for you as I was tuning into your energy before I started recording. And kind of makes sense with the astrology as well. I'm thinking the 11th in particular could really be a powerful time for secrets being revealed, because that is when Mercury, your ruling planet, is going to be forming a conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn. And again, Capricorn is kind of your sign of secrecy. There could be revelations, and that could be things you're discovering about yourself or in the people around you. It actually feels more like the people around you, or something that you share with the people around you. There really is a sense of other people being involved in this truth. Whether that's you sharing it or they're sharing it, it's going to be dependent on who you are, who's watching this. But I get that sense. Secrets being revealed and being shared, or truths being revealed and shared. And what else do we have? I know there is a square between Mercury and it's Uranus. I'm sorry, Uranus in Taurus at the end of the month. That's on the 25th. And that's kind of interesting because Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. It is kind of the higher mind. It's the sudden insight or inspiration, the aha moment. Uranus really changes things quite quickly and unexpectedly. And this is actually very interesting because Uranus is in your 12th house, which is the house of your subconscious. It's the house of secrecy. It's sometimes the house of hidden enemies. So maybe there are people who are going to be revealing themselves around you in that way, or just secret people in general, people behind the scenes in your life. I don't think it just needs to be enemies, actually. I even wonder, really, really specific, maybe some of you are even finding out about family members you didn't know that you had. Or again, this could just be secrets, but I could actually potentially see that as well. Hidden allies is something I'm actually getting. People you can connect with. There was that kind of symbolism with sisterhood. Could also be cousins too. But anyway, Mercury squaring off with Uranus on the 25th of February. There really could be this jarring information that comes forward, or that you are kind of putting on the table, that could really shake things up, and that could really challenge worldviews of yourself or other people involved. But I think there's actually a lot of strength that comes from that. Whatever that moment is, however this is manifesting It's bringing a lot of strength. It's bringing a very strong connection. I'm even seeing these elephants kind of moving in a ring together, circling around this larger face. We have those that ring together. It's like they're moving in the same direction. And maybe that's something that's happening. Maybe if it feels like the energy of the people around you have just been really scattered, you're now moving in a unison, or you're going in the same direction together. There's harmony that's happening. And if this isn't family, then it could be people you're working with. It could be lovers. It could be friendships. But those are kind of the main energies I'm getting, what I've been talking about. Is there anything else? Is there anything else? I do want to just kind of pull one more card for you, actually, Gemini. What else do we have for Gemini? Interesting. This Eight of Cups was actually at the bottom of the deck, and it's just the card that popped out as I was shuffling here. The Eight of Cups really is seeing things from a higher perspective. And there actually was that energy message I was giving you earlier, that energy of like, you've gone along a path and then you've realized the thing that once made you happy or you thought would make you happy isn't quite it for you. I often think of the Eight of Cups as being so close to the Nine or Ten of Cups. We're so close to that fulfillment, but we realize we have to seek elsewhere to get the full fulfillment we're wishing to find or wishing to attain. And sometimes there is this sense of leaving something behind. This specific Eight of Cups is really interesting to me, though, because in some of the depictions of this card, the cups are knocked over or they're broken. There's this sense of, you will not find your happiness here. I think this specific card is kind of showing us that what you've gained so far hasn't been for nothing. And you're just refining your vision, refining your desires, refining your plans for the future. There could actually be literal travel for some of you as well, especially as we come more into this Aquarian energy with your ruling planet, Mercury, going into Aquarius on the 14th. There might actually be travel plans that you're making. And maybe you're making that to connect with family or people who you would consider family in some way. Or maybe connecting with your roots in some way. Maybe learning about your roots, learning about your ancestry. That could also be something important too. If you can't physically go there, you might just be researching, learning. That also makes sense with this energy too. We don't always have to physically go somewhere, especially in today's world. We have so much access available to us. So you could just be connecting with another culture in that way. But there really is this thing with like land and landscapes, looking at these cards here. Especially with this turtle and looking at the home on the turtle's back. That seems really beautiful and significant to me. Maybe you are looking to move somewhere else, but I think more so this is you connecting to your roots. Connecting to the core desire. That could be taken any number of ways. And really coming up with new strategies or adding to your happiness, adding to the joy that you have, or adding to the things that once brought you joy. I don't think you necessarily need to leave something behind, even though there is this Eight of Cups. Maybe some of you are walking away from a situation that once made you happy but no longer does. I think you're actually going to bring something back to it. However, that's just the way I'm reading this energy. And those are all the messages I have for you, Gemini. I do hope that this was helpful. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments section down below what it is that you're rethinking. What part of your life are you really reviewing? How are you changing the way you try to attain your happiness or realize your dreams? I would love to hear that. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, Gemini.